जय हिंद, भारत माता की जय दोस्तों. I am back again with a new episode of Never Say Die series. The guest today among us epitomized Never Say Die spirit in his childhood itself. बहुत से लोगों ने उनको अपनी ड्रीम लाइफ जीने से डिस्करेज किया, but he proved them wrong. Let's welcome Colonel Satish Mallik on the show. Welcome on the show, sir. Jai Hind.
It's a privilege to be here on this platform with you. Thank you.
Why did people stop you from joining NDA? And how did you react to that?
It was a big dream to get into NDA. So it was kind of unfathomable for others. And they all would feel that, why is he behaving like a lunatic? I mean, he knows that NDA में जाने के लिए अंग्रेजी बहुत अच्छी होनी चाहिए, अंग्रेजी में बोलना आना चाहिए. So, everybody felt that I'm trying to reach something which is much beyond me. My background is that I studied in a Hindi medium Sarkari school in Patna. And I was like, कि एक कोशिश तो जरूर करके देखनी चाहिए, ऐसे ही क्यों छोड़ दें. And I tried. In my first attempt, in fact, I didn't clear NDA entrance examination. So all the naysayers, they had a field day admonishing me कि देखो हमने कहा था तुमसे नहीं होगा. But that failure that kind of pushed me on, and I said, okay, let me give another try. And second time I cleared NDA, and I joined NDA in 1983.
Was it really tough that way in NDA?
It was tough in the sense when I reached NDA, I realized that I was joining a group of students, or that time they were cadets now, who had come from varied backgrounds. Mostly, I would say all of them from English medium background. So I was a little apprehensive, a little afraid, I would say. But I realized कुछ दिनों के बाद सब बराबर है. When it comes to training, soldiering, we all are on the same level platform, and learning English is, it's not so tough. One can always learn, practice, and start conversing in English. So that was not really that tough, which I was thinking it would be.
In fact, that's a big myth people carry, youngsters carry कि भाई अंग्रेजी नहीं आती तो फौज ज्वाइन नहीं कर सकते, या फिर सिर्फ अगर रैम्बो हैं तभी फौज ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
Talking about soldiering, sir, आपने शुरू में ही अपने करियर के after getting commission, you saw a type of a lockdown. What was that lockdown?
As a second lieutenant, when I joined my battalion was deployed on line of control in Jammu and Kashmir. And being the youngest officer in the battalion, obviously I was sent to the forwardmost post, which was just about 50 meters away from the Pakistani post, which was, it was facing. So I spent more than a year on that post with just 7 soldiers, 7 jawans of my company. So that was a kind of lockdown. I mean, there was absolutely no movement in the daytime, with a constant fear of getting an MMG burst anytime. And there were certain areas which were so exposed that one literally had to crawl to cross those areas. In a week, everybody would get a chance to cook. So one day in a week would be my chance, and I would cook for everybody there. Water was, of course, it was, fetched from Nala, which was down below. There's no bathroom, there's no toilet, and everything you're doing in the dark, before the sun rises. The whole thing was being shared as a team.
Vegetables, milk वगैरह कहाँ से, ग्रोफर से ऑर्डर करते थे सर?
Well, you just survive. I mean, you get your rations from supply, and your gobi, maybe it would have been plucked from the field at least 12 to 15 days before it reaches you. So by the time it reaches you, it's kind of dried vegetable that you're getting. It's a task to fetch it. Like whenever we would go to company headquarters for any work, while coming back, we'll fill up our pittu with all the rations for the post, and all of us would carry it. Whoever is going up would carry all the rations, all the mails. That was very, very important. किसी की भी चिट्ठी आई हो, पहले सबसे पहले वो लेके आना है. And there are innovations. People would come out with making sweets from those stale milk powder that you are getting. but you survive. You know how to survive.
Not just survive, sir, you survive to stay fit, to fight for the country and with smiles.
Absolutely. Yes, that is important.
Talking about fitness, sir, you sustained injury later on in your career. How did you sustain that injury and what exactly is the injury?
When the Kargil war started, large amount of infiltration was happening. And by this time, I had become a company commander of my company. So there was some infiltration happening in front of my company area. And we had gone down to address that. And so, we could stop that infiltration. Those guys, they ran back to Pakistan. And while we were coming back to my company headquarter post, I had 6 men with me. So, somewhere there would have been some drifted mine from, which would have drifted down the slope somewhere. And I stepped over that and I blew off my leg. So first thing, you don't even realize what has happened. So, when that shock came in my body, I was thinking maybe I have been hit. So Pakistanis, they have started firing, so probably a bullet has hit me or something. So I was looking all around, and when I looked down, I realized that my leg is blown. Maybe a few fingers were hanging with some skin, and pant, वो सब कुछ उड़ चुका था, सारा कुछ बूट उड़ चुका था वहाँ पे. So when you look down, you see nothing but blood and torn flesh there. Then these men, they start running towards you, कि साहब को भी उठाना है. And that I stopped immediately because, I knew if there is one drifted mine, there could be more. So if I have blown off my leg, I have got injured, it's no point getting anybody else also injured. So I said, okay, you stop wherever you are. And I hopped on one leg and hopped to a place which we were very sure that it is not mine. So I hopped to that place. And then, I organized my own evacuation. So being a leader, it was very, very conscious decision in my mind that I have to be, in command of my troops, and I have to motivate my troops, and I have to coordinate the complete evacuation process. First thing I did was I tied a tourniquet on my thigh so that bleeding would reduce. I sent 2 of my boys to get me blankets and also stretcher, and also inform the regimental doctor. And then I asked my boys to lift me up, and they started walking. It happened sometime in the evening, around 5:30. And by the time I reached hospital in Rajouri, where amputation happened, it was almost 1:30 in the night. So from 5:30 till 1:30, I was bleeding continuously. But one thing I was very sure of, that come what may, I'm not going to die. I will live. When वो कहते हैं ना कि दर्द का हद से गुजर जाना दवा हो जाना है. So, there's so much of pain, you can't do much. Just accept it. While they were operating, we were discussing, there was some India-Sri Lanka cricket match that day. While the operation was happening on my leg, we all were discussing कि match में क्या होगा.
That's the spirit, sir. That's the spirit. Wow. But how did you make your family so much positive? Because I'm sure your parents, your wife, your kids must have reacted with little shock in the beginning. How did you manage that part?
My first priority was somehow to go to that STD phone booth and call up my parents. I talked to them and I explained to them, see, this is what has happened. I have blown off a leg. That leg is gone. वो वापस नहीं आने वाला है. And I am alive. मैं मरूंगा नहीं. वो भी पक्का है. I am alive. I am dead and hearty. By then my wife and children, they also reached Rajouri hospital. I know, she must have been in too much of pain. My son at that time was just 4 months old, so he wouldn't understand anything, I'm sure. My daughter was 6 years old, so she was in that, typical playful age. For her, the whole hospital was a play area. My wife, obviously, it would be a big agony for her. You see, the army is such a wonderful, wonderful organization when it comes to support to each other.
Right.
My wife, the moment she reached Rajouri hospital, immediately next door is ASC battalion of Rajouri. So CO and 2IC of ASC battalion with their respective wives, they just walked in And they just picked up my wife. Ki, nahi, nahi, aap chalo hamare saath. You'll come and you'll live with us. The way people, they support each other in this organization. That is something which is commendable, I would say.
After losing the leg, you later on became a biker, adventurist. Why?
I'll modify that statement a little bit. I was always a biker. So
Okay.
even before my injury, I was a biker. But after losing a leg, that was a period of self-doubt. Suddenly, you were standing on two legs. You were doing everything which was humanly possible, sometimes even to inhuman level that you're doing. And one day you realize that, okay, one leg is gone. And so you're not very sure क्या कर पाएंगे, क्या नहीं कर पाएंगे. But one thing which was always there, I would say it's there in my personality, कि मैं बगैर ट्राई किए हुए कभी छोड़ूंगा नहीं. मतलब I would never accept कि ये काम मेरे से नहीं होगा till such time I give my best try.
Exactly.
वो कर दिया, उसके बाद भी नहीं हुआ, then ठीक है, it's okay. There are things which I cannot do. But वो try तो मैंने जरूर करना है. So I had got this trial, and the same day, one of my ex-commanding officers, he came to look me up. Mm-hmm. And he had an old Premier Padmini car, and I had the same car. वो आए, थोड़ी देर गपशप किया, and I saw the key in his hand. पता नहीं क्यों ऐसे ही दिमाग में आ गया. ऐसे सर जरा चाबी दिखाओ, देखूं कार चलती है कि नहीं. मैंने भी बड़ा डरते डरते वो स्टार्ट किया. एंड आइडिया वाज, अच्छा, आई हैव लेफ्ट लेग एम्पुटेशन, सो लेफ्ट लेग से क्लच को दबाना है. अब वो क्लच दबेगा नहीं दबेगा, वो क्लच को मैं कितना छोड़ूंगा, कैसे छोड़ूंगा, all those doubts were there in my mind. And then I realized हो जाएगा. I mean, it's not impossible. These are things, these small little incidents which give you confidence. And then I said, I had been a biker, so मतलब motorcycle क्यों नहीं चलाऊंगा मैं? And again, there were people, nahi, now, with this artificial leg, you may not be able to ride a motorcycle. So again, the same thing was there कि एक बार कोशिश करके तो देखना ही देखना है. उसके बाद I'll see whether I can ride or I can't ride. So I tried, and Enfield bike, I have a Thunderbird 350cc, and by now I have done almost the entire country and some neighboring countries also on that bike, mostly with my wife sitting as pillion. So, you try it out at least, and then you would realize things are not impossible. Ho jata hai. Yeah.
Sir, as a person with disability, to come at par, one need to put in extra efforts.
Yes.
Right? Do you at time get tired by being that extra efficient? Ki bhaiya rehne do.
I do get tired, and there are times when I accept it कि नहीं अब ये नहीं हो पाएगा मुझसे. Like I was playing squash regularly with my son, and with anybody else. I played some tournaments also, even after my amputation. But again, there was a time when I realized now it's getting too much, so I don't play squash anymore.
Right.
I would rather play golf than squash now.
So you are into hiking and photography also. Is that your profession now after getting retired?
Hiking is just a hobby, and as far as photography is concerned, I would say it's a semi-profession. I mean, I do earn revenue out of photography. I teach photography a lot. I conduct regular workshops, and I also sell my pictures. I do assignment shoots. So, but that is not my main profession. I am a risk management consultant. So this friend and coursemate of mine, his name is Major Y.S. Mehte. He started this company, Fortrop Risk Consultancy Services. Two of us, we work together, and we are running this consulting company in risk management, and purely non-financial risk management that we do.
But COVID must have impacted your company also. Were you able to assess your own company's risk because of this?
Yes, it certainly has impacted my company also. In terms of COVID-19, no. I mean, nobody knew about COVID-19, but certainly, certain risks were always there in mind that anything may happen because of which nothing will happen. I mean, nothing will move. So you always have plan B in mind. What else can we do? The whole idea is, to distribute risk. अलग अलग जगह पे वो रिस्क को डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करके रखें, एक जगह ज्यादा रिस्क है तो दूसरा कम से कम उसको संभाल ले.
डू यू विजुअलाइज कि जो एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हैं या जो स्टार्टअप्स हैं उनके लिए ये आसान है डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करके रखना रिस्क को?
For entrepreneurs, I would say it is always there because entrepreneurs are high risk appetite people. तभी वो entrepreneur बनते हैं, उनमें है वो चीज, रिस्क उठाने का जज्बा होता है. So you always have your plan B, you always have your business continuity plan if something happens, how best that I'll move forward and still survive. So I wouldn't say it is very easy, but they certainly can do it.
Great, sir. Wonderful talking to you. In the end, would you like to give some message to the public?
एक शेर है, कौन कहता है आसमान में सुराख नहीं हो सकता, एक पत्थर तो तबीयत से उछालो यारो. So I would sum it up with that. एक पत्थर तो तबीयत से उछालो. Try it, हो जाएगा.
Wonderful, sir. Great talking to you, sir. Thank you so much for coming on the show and enlightening us. तो ये थे कर्नल सतीश मलिक. एक पत्थर तो उछालो जरा तबीयत से. इंटेंट अगर आपकी है तो कुछ भी मुमकिन है, और मुमकिन करने के लिए कम से कम कोशिश तो करो. It is possible. So till we meet next time, take care of yourself. God bless you. Jai Hind. Bharat Mata ki Jai.